And what a night it has been so far, Trinidad and Tobago. Actually, what a week it has been so far. To everyone joining on YouTube, pleasant good night to you. That's where we're streaming live tonight. Remember, we're no longer live on Facebook or we're no longer live on TikTok. It is just strictly now YouTube. So for everyone joining live, thank you so much for joining. Remember to share as much as possible, either to Facebook, if you're, WhatsApp, on WhatsApp, share it to your friends, families, let them know that we're live tonight. All right, I want to say thank you to everyone that watches this show, though, because we're still maintaining just about over 1 million views for the week so far, and that is crazy to even think about, all right? We're like at 1,275,000 and counting, so it means that we're doing something good here and people are actually watching and listening, all right? But as we start off tonight, I think everyone so far is still looking on or, looking at Parliament and what happened at Parliament just yesterday. So government was debating the hiring of, 2 individuals to senior positions in Trinidad and Tobago, and the opposition walked out, right? Normal thing, I guess, nothing different. And tonight, I'll share the comparison with you, all right? Because the People's National Movement has a tendency of wanting to take control of everything and always wanting to be in charge. And whenever the People's National Movement is not in charge, the entire party seems to be up in arms and seems to be very much confused as to what to do next or what they're going to talk about, who they're going to talk about, what they're going to do. It seems that the term opposition for the opposition in itself, the People's National Movement, is something that they don't really like and doesn't sit well with them. I mean, who likes the opposition? The UNC sat in opposition for 10 years, and now the PNM will sit in opposition for a 10-year period until they get their act together. But let me take you to Kareem Marcel, and Kareem Marcel is an egotistical SOB that doesn't even deserve to be in Parliament. One of the reasons why Kareem Marcel is in Parliament is because he is given everything in life. And when you talk about, I'm an attorney at law, I'm an attorney at law, it's not that he went and he passed the bar in Trinidad and Tobago and he got his law degree. It's that he got a scholarship to be an attorney, right? They were given out, literally. They were given out, basically, they were finding attorneys for persons that were running around, just like myself, protesting. I don't know where he protested. And, activists, basically, activisting against either government opposition or for your country, basically. And he went, he applied, he get through. Not only that, but he would have gone up in Laventille West, and his narrative, this is Kareem Marcel. Kareem Marcel's not, I'm not trying to be respectful, that's why I'm fumbling for words, because I'm trying to find the utmost respect for the Member of Parliament, but it's hard to find. But Kareem Marcel's story is this. Kareem Marcel is the Member of Parliament for Laventille West, and he probably wants to be the Attorney General to Trinidad and Tobago, which is why he has such smart remarks for the Attorney General today, John Jeremy. But you think he earned his seat in Parliament, and that is untrue. Man, we could have put a dog to run for Laventille West, and the dog would have win over a human being. That is how dotish the people of Laventille West is when it comes to change, not in general. There are some smart people living there, I hope, that voted differently or probably just didn't vote at all. But this pen could have been the Member of Parliament for Laventille West. That is just how docile the people are up there. And it doesn't matter what the PNM do. It doesn't matter who the PNM put. You would have already, your seat was guaranteed. That's a reality. Kareem Marcel's seat in Laventille West, and the thing is, nobody else wants to say it, but I will. because it don't benefit me to stay quiet about Kareem Marcel or about the type of parliament that went on yesterday. The kind of Sesame Street parliament. It's just that we didn't find Ernie. Well, maybe we did. But for that type of parliament to still be happening in 2025 is ridiculous. So, I don't want to play this. I really don't. Because it was uncalled for. But we'll get to it. Here's the thing, Here's what I don't understand. Or here's what I don't understand. The People's National Movement going to the parliament. You know what? Let's take a look first, and then I'll comment on it. So you formulate your own opinion on this also. I know a lot of you all have already seen it, but this here was Kareem Marcel in parliament yesterday.
Not only allegations, but evidence before in different criminal proceedings, where justices of the peace are not only rubber stamping warrants, but where there were justices of the peace issuing search warrants without even name and address, giving it to the Trinidad and Tobago, some officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and they put the name on it when they want to enter your home. Mr. Speaker, we have to stand as watchdog against that kind of behavior. And we have to, Mr. Speaker, and we have to stand as watchdogs of that kind of behavior, especially when there is inference of political persecution from members opposite. When they point at
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, 48,
sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. With your nonsense. Mr. Speaker.
Okay. All right, so that was Parliament yesterday, Trinidad and Tobago. Who you really talking to, Olivia? But that's not the basis of what I even want to talk about, right? The People's National Movement is one hypocritical political party, 100%. Because they want to talk about political interference in service commissions, such as the Police Complaints Authority, or within the appointment of a Deputy Commissioner of Police, when they were the same people that went to went to the President's house and interfered with the merit list. And it was referenced by Barry Padarat yesterday. And then Gasby Dolly, who suddenly emerged from out of nowhere to talk opposition business, is condemning, and not even condemning, but raising standing orders 48-1 relevance. But Kareem Marcel raised it and said political interference on the government side when it comes to the appointment of any particular individual. And this is the definition of a pot calling the kettle black. Because Gary Griffith was removed as Commissioner of Police based off the very political interference by the pitbull Keith Christopher Rowley and that jackass who's still talking today and telling us that he retired from politics, but he retired from Trinidad and Tobago, as though we want you. The last thing we told Keith Christopher Rowley is that when he lose the election, you, your wife's security, the security that she having an affair with, could all go to Venezuela since you love Venezuela so goddamn much. That's what Keith Rowley could do. We don't want to hear from him. And then to still go to the parliament and hear from imbeciles such as Kareem Marcel, right? Such as Kareem Marcel, talk about political interference and question whether or not the government of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, is engaging in such is hogwash and nonsensical. In fact, Kareem Marcel, just in case you were sleeping for the past 10 years, or maybe you was in bed with Keith Christopher Rowley just to get position, let me remind you that it is Kamla Persad-Bissessar that spoke about giving the Police Complaints Authority prosecuting powers. She spoke about it. She's the only one that spoke about it when your political leader, back then Keith Christopher Rowley, and your entire party basically said nothing and did nothing. The three men, and what is ironic, Kareem Marcel, is that you were there in Mova, right? Somehow, in probably, I don't know what you was doing when the three men died, but you spoke heavily about extrajudicial killings at the hands of police officers. But when a government wants to fix it, you're towing a party line? Really? You're towing a party line when a government really come to fix the problem? That's what you're doing? Simply because you become an attorney at law, all right? Not through the hard process, because it was an easy way out for you. Again, your history and your life, easy way out. But because you became a member of parliament as well, again, easy way out. It's a constituency you didn't really have to fight hard for. Nobody was your competition up there. Nobody. UNC is not your competition in Laventille West. The PNM is not your competition in Laventille West. There's no competition up there. As I said before, you could have put a dog to run, the dog would have win. But PNM did put a dog. You're the dog that they found to run, you big bitch. That is what's going on in the PNM and in Parliament. Parliament is filled with a set of nonsensical imbeciles like yourself that bring nothing but noise to a debate. Nothing but noise. The reason why y'all walked out of Parliament yesterday is because y'all staged that stupid move where Gasby Dolly was questioning over and over and standing on standing orders over and over to frustrate the process inside Parliament. And it is come back. It is a narrative by the PNM. Listen, the PNM's narrative is to destabilize Trinidad and Tobago government so much that they could call or try to call for a snap election. But I want Nyan Gasby Dolly or Nyan Gasby Dolly to know that there's no snap elections that will be called either now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, or even up to the 5th year of this administration's term. There's no snap election that is going to be called. There's nothing that the opposition, Penelope Beckles, full of hair, not full of hair, could do about that at all. Let me remind you of the very words from members of the opposition, Shamfa Kujo. We in charge now, deal with it, deal with it. We in charge now. And you are not going to be able to attack the government without going through people like us on social media, because you all have been running this country for 10 years straight. 10 years straight. And what the country have to show for it? What do we have to show for it? It had set a millionaires in the People's National Movement. That's what Keith Rowley, this jackass plays video. This one here, right? Who suddenly now get a seat but think he's the loudest mouth on social media and loudest mouth inside Parliament. And the next idiot right next to him that has beat the desk hard. You went to Parliament sitting, you saw it. These are idiots, Trinidad and Tobago. He has something to prove. He wants to prove to the very man next to him, Brian Manning, that he is supposed to be there. He want to prove to Keith Christopher Rowley that I supposed to be here and I could be a next raging bull just like you. And then all they might tell me, well, you're doing the same thing as him. The difference is, not the difference, the main thing is, you have to meet people like them, play your video. On their level, the only thing that this jackass go understand is the jackass language. That's all. I interact with he. I come back. Here's what, I understand how that raging bull does operate. I sat on radio with that jackass and I brought substance. I brought substance to our conversation, and the only thing that Trinidad and Tobago took away from the conversation is the type of shoes you was wearing. You go, here, if you respond to this, you go talk about your hairstyle. That is the type of jackass inside the Parliament. That is the type of people inside the Parliament, on the PNM side of the Parliament. Give me the mouse. Give me the thing with the mouse. Let me show you something, You all think the PNM, watch now, when you finish, when you come out from being an activist, you just know how the PNM does operate Trinidad and Tobago, and you know what the PNM come in with. So I'm going to show you what the PNM come in with. I'm going to play this whole clip for you, and I'm going to show you what the PNM come in with, because this is nothing new, you know. Nothing that happened inside Parliament yesterday was new. The opposition come with a motive to destabilize the government. That's their whole agenda. Imagine 5 months into a term and the jackasses on that side tell me, oh, they're walking out of Parliament? Or they're walking out? I could call them the jackass here today, you know why? Because they can't do nothing. They can't bring no privilege motion, and I'm going to play all the privilege motions that them on that side, when they were in government, they brought against the very opposition today. The same bullshit them doing, at least a little bit more. In 5 months, the first thing them do is walk out Parliament and neglect their responsibility and negate their responsibilities as members of Parliament to go and hold a press conference outside to talk about the Speaker of the House. Well, do so, don't like so. You remember this woman? You remember this woman, Bridget Annette George? She was the Speaker of the House that curtailed every single right that the opposition had. Y'all went to the Parliament during COVID to say opposition speaking time must be cut in half. Cut in half. And yet pass under a state of emergency. The government at the time, the PNM government, did that. The opposition, the government today, through the Speaker, Jagdeo, ain't doing that. He gave Kareem Marcel more time to talk. And then Kareem Marcel still engaged in the old talk, the bickering, the bantering, and calling names. I remember Anil Roberts called names inside the Parliament, and he was kicked out immediately. But Kareem Marcel, through Jagdeo as the Speaker of the House, gave him as much opportunity, as much chances, and did not kick anybody out. And people say Barry Padarat this, and he shouldn't say it. Barry Padarat rose on a standing order 46-1. Go and read the news article or go and read the Hansard. I read the Hansard. 46-1. That standing order, he rose on. Anytime you raise on a standing order, the member is to sit down, which is why Barry Padarat said, sit down. And then he said, who are you talking to? Loud, the Lavantil behavior. But don't forget this woman, Trinidad and Tobago. Don't forget her at all. And I wanna play some more clips for you not to forget, because we'll get to Anil Roberts as well. Because Anil Roberts went through the same thing this time. He went through the same thing under this pencil pusher we have here. Y'all remember this woman? She's still the president. The pencil pusher president. I can't wait for your term to end. But the pencil pusher president, before she became the president of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, ORTT, she was the Senate president. And as Senate president, ORTT, Christine Kangaroo, we like to call her Kangaroo, kicked Anil Roberts out of the Senate for raising questions during COVID-19. You all want to know what are the questions Anil Roberts raised during COVID-19? Anil Roberts raised the question of what science is the government following to curtail opposition speaking time, given that, he continued, given that CPL was allowed to come to Trinidad. So if CPL could come, why we could tail in the opposition speaking time? This pencil pusher stand up and say that he is not being relevant. Right? Same thing today inside Parliament. The opposition stands up to say that the government not being relevant, but the Speaker of the House continuously says that overruled basically almost every time. And this is the point that is being made and generated, but the PNM don't understand, and the PNM don't understand simply because there are people like Kareem Marcel inside Parliament, and most of them there simply because they want a position. So take a look at this yesterday. I'm going to play the whole thing. This is the comparison. This is how the PNM operates. And I'm going to show you now, and I'm going to show you back then, because it is the same pattern. Take a look.
Mr. Speaker, we have to stand as watchdog against that kind of behavior. And we have to, Mr. Speaker, and we have to stand as watchdogs of that kind of behavior, especially when there is inference of political persecution from members opposite. when they point at
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker, 48-6, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down. With your nonsense. Mr. Speaker.
Okay.
Leader of government business. Okay. Enough. Enough.
Mr. Speaker, that hooliganism will not be accepted in this House. I put up a standing order 48-6.
Flashback.
Speaker, this motion is frivolous and vexatious. This motion is childish. This motion has no basis. This motion has no purpose. This motion is empty. It is vacuous. It is tenuous. It is absurd. And Mr. Speaker, I am not staying in this parliament to continue this foolish debate. I am leaving now. We're getting out of here. You could say what you want. Whatever you have to say. Whatever you have to say. Say it outside. If, Mr. Speaker, if they name man, if you name man, come outside. Don't stay inside. Bunch of cowards. I'm gone from here.
You can run, but you cannot hide. You can run, but you cannot hide, Mr. Speaker. As the members of the opposition exit the parliament, once more abdicating their duty to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Speaker. We say to them, you can run, but you cannot hide. The people of Trinidad and Tobago will measure you today. The people of Trinidad and Tobago will measure you today by your lack of commitment to process. The people of Trinidad and Tobago will measure the opposition today as we see the empty benches, Mr. Speaker. As we see the empty benches, the member for Aruka Lopino is no longer with us. The member for Arima is never ever with us. The member for Diego Martin Northeast is gone. The member for St. Anne's East is gone. Well, we thought we would not have seen the member for Portisby North St. Anne's West after April 28th. He too is gone for another time, bowled out by the government. The member for Portisby South is gone. The member for Aruka Maloney is never here. The member for Diego Martin Central gone. The member for Diego Martin West gone. The member for Laventille East, Laventille West, all gone, Mr. Speaker, on an important motion. All. Abdicating their responsibility, their duty to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Why? Because they did not have the political will to stand up here and contribute.
Mr. Speaker, I see hate. Mr. Speaker, I see bitterness. Mr. Speaker, I see acrimony. Mr. Speaker, I see animosity. And Mr. Speaker, I see a man completely out of control. Completely out of control, Mr. Speaker. That is what I see. And that problem is not a new problem to me, you know. I was aware of the tendency for the honorable to go out of control since 1987.
And that is the thing with the People's National Movement. Them out of control since the beginning of time, Trinidad and Tobago. Since the beginning of time, the People's National Movement out of control. But you see the comparison. There is nothing new. They walked out of Parliament in 2015. That's when they walked out. And in 2025, again, they walk out. Again, they walked out. And yes, opposition, when UNC was in opposition, they walked out multiple times and staged walkouts multiple times. But it was for a purpose. It was because the government was doing what they wanted to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And it didn't matter what. They were passing laws and legislations to benefit themselves. Finance number 2 bill, procurement legislation, and so much more, Trinidad and Tobago. You remember this woman? Scroll down, because when they're talking now, go to, let me see, scroll up. Where's, go to pictures. Well, Christine Kangaloo, go to Bridget, yeah, run that picture. Bridget and George, as Speaker of the House, was doing what they wanted, what she wanted to do. Opposition could have said and done nothing because government was never wrong. You all remember Christine Kangaloo? Christine Kangaloo as Senate President, Trinidad and Tobago. But do so, though, like so, eh? What is going on here? Do so, though, like so. Come back. Let me draw the comparison now, Trinidad and Tobago. And this is why you all need to watch Weekend Review, and you're all locked in tonight. Reason being is that we just come with the facts and the facts only. So let me break down some facts for you. See what the PNM do like is exactly what they were given to the opposition back then. I just told you about Anil Roberts. Anil Roberts was kicked out of Parliament. You may ask, what reason was Anil Roberts kicked out of Parliament for? Or Senate, at least. Anil Roberts was kicked out of the Senate for asking questions during COVID-19 and simply drawing a reference as to why the government is not guided by the same science that they claim to be guided by if they allowed CPL in. Question: why curtail opposition speaking time? Why do all that you're doing now if you're guided by the science? And Anil Roberts was kicked out of the Senate for asking those questions on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. You don't believe me? For the people that saying you don't know what you're talking about? Listen.
In the height of the pandemic, with people dying left, right, and center, after we had been at 8 deaths for 3 months and 2 weeks, we moved up quickly to 100 deaths, but we had the CPL here, and those players came in from all over the world. They stayed in what we called a bubble. They quarantined for 7 days and then another 7 days of practice. But our national football team, who is preparing to try to make us proud by qualifying for the World Cup, cannot.
Senator Roberts, please, you are not being relevant to the motion here. The motion in this chamber is about the speaking time of parliamentarians. That is the motion.
Madam President, the speaking time of parliamentarians has been curtailed by the government based on their science, their data, their COVID-19 protocols. And I am saying that their science in here does not match their science out there.
I am saying to you, Senator Roberts, that you need to tone it down. Tone it down.
President, I would love to know what standing order, please, is tone it down, because I've read it and I have not seen it. Please advise.
Well, no, that's very good for you. If you are reading and you're not seeing it, I am saying to you, and I have said it repeatedly, unless someone wants to question the authority of the presiding officer, I am saying to you, tone it down.
Madam President, I'm not questioning you. I'm asking you what standing order.
Actually, you actually
what
are
is
questioning
me.
You actually are questioning me. And I'm going to say to you, continue along this line, and your speaking time will be curtailed today.
Thank you, Madam President. I won't be shocked, but let me continue. I quote...
Senator Roberts, please, those offhand remarks, cut it out.
Let me say, this is a good time to quote one of the greatest soca songs of the year by the Blacks. I'm going to quote from it because it's a hit song. We didn't have a carnival, probably because the COVID-19 protocols and the science was not followed from last year, February. Had it been followed properly, pertinently, and to the best of everybody's experience, we may have been able to have a domestic carnival.
Senator Roberts, you are speaking on everything but the motion. This is your last opportunity.
And in the song, Black said, if you cut me, you go see blood. If you squeeze me, you go feel the love. We are one people under the sun, one nation under the law, and all of us here are one nation under the law to make laws. Who feel they're too bright? 99, 1%.
love to wine, represent. All that we want to see happiness, prosperity, I for you and you for me. He had to write this classic song before September 2015 because blacks believes in his constitution. While the PNM government shreds it, curtails the opposition speaking time, cuts it, makes us talk softer, and does what they want to the opposition. But we will stand firm.
Senator Roberts, your contribution is finished. Leader of Government Business.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Madam President, I joined this debate.
Sir, just 1 second. Senator Roberts. Senator Roberts, I will ask you to apologize right now for the comments I just heard you make. I am not going to repeat what I heard. I am asking you to apologize for what I just heard.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sit-in. Please leave the chamber. Minister, Leader of Government Business.
All right, my apologies. So that is what Arnold Roberts was kicked out for. That right there, Trinidad and Tobago, right? So that is what Arnold Roberts was kicked out for. But you're seeing the difference in these speakers, by the way. I just want to bring a comparison for you. So that was Bridget Annasett George. And at the time, Bridget Annasett, not Bridget, sorry, that was Christine Kangaroo, my apologies, or Kangaroo. And at the time, Christine Kangaroo was hopping, jumping, and doing everything that PNM tell her to do. Now she has no choice because Kamala in charge now. And there's only one woman with enough balls to tell the president to her face anything that she needs to tell the president. And the woman with the amount of kahulas, the balls in the Caribbean, is Kamala Persad-Bissessar, and Kamala Persad-Bissessar only, who sided with the United States and said kill them all violently, while our president stayed quiet, shut him out, and was maybe a rat inside, president's house, which he should be, quiet at this point in time. But I want to bring the difference between the two speakers of the House. Because while the imbeciles on the PNM side are talking Nyan Gatsby, Dolly, Penelope Beckles, and all the rest of them, the rest of stooges inside on the opposition bench, when I question the speaker, this speaker gives a lot of leeway. Kareem Asa get kicked out? No. Nyan Gatsby get kicked out? No. Nobody get kicked out. In fact, the speaker, Jagdio Singh, gave Kareem Asa even more time than he should have gotten to wrap up his contributions. So I want to play that for you. Listen to it.
Pre-appointment training courses that last for 15 weeks for justices of the peace in training them what factors to consider in issuing and in granting and issuing the search warrants. So I'm just saying that it is a pattern that in Trinidad and Tobago, when we want to compare jurisdiction, we must understand the responsibility that comes with it. And my friend from Bataya Sanwan said that he came into the ministry and it was in a mess and it had no work going on. Mr. Speaker, I spoke to a member of the Justice of the Peace, the Justice of the Peace Association. And one of the first things that they told me in preparation for same. And one of the first things, Mr. Speaker, that I was told is that there was and this was my information, Mr. Speaker, that there was work being done it was spearheaded by the then minister in the Ministry of the Attorney General and Legal Affairs, the Honorable Renuka Sagram Singh Suklal at the time, where the Law Reform Commission was directed and in fact started the work in terms of looking at the system of justice of the peace and how they can amend it. So it is disingenuous, Mr. Speaker, and I confirm, Mr. Speaker, from the former Attorney General, Senator Farah Salwari, Mr. Speaker, that in fact did happen, Mr. Speaker. So it is disingenuous for my friend from Bataya, Sanwan, to come and read work that was presented.
Imputed improper motives. 48-6.
You did a remedial class, or you didn't call it.
You know, San Fernando East, you are the most chronic complainer of crosstalk.
Sorry, sir, there was no standing order as per the rules of this parliament.
You're the most chronic complainer of crosstalk. So let's stop it. Member, continue. But cut down the invective.
Okay. So you all saw that, right? He told Kareem Marcel to continue. So let us continue forward, Trinidad and Tobago. Let's continue.
Minister, in an impartial, fair, and justifiable manner. The reality is, Mr. Speaker, that there are too many instances before the court and in the public domain where not only allegations but evidence before in different criminal proceedings where justices of the peace are not only rubber stamping warrants, but where there were justices of the peace issuing search warrants without even name and address, giving it to the Trinidad and Tobago, some officers of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and they put the name on it when they want to enter your home. Mr. Speaker, we have to stand as watchdog against that kind of behavior. And we have to, Mr. Speaker, and we have to stand as watchdogs of that kind of behavior, especially when there is inference of political persecution from members opposite when they point at
Mr. Speaker.
And that right there, Trinidad and Tobago, is why Barry Paderat rose on his feet. Because what Kareem Marcel just said there is that they are 100%, or he have information, that members of the government politically interfering with service commissions in Trinidad and Tobago, which, by the way, is an indictable offense, Trinidad and Tobago. It should be, and it is. But let's continue. So after you all saw that clip, after it is that he said all that he said, and they called 48-1, they called 46-1, and and all of the standing orders were raised in that very moment. The Speaker of the House, Jagio Singh, still allowed the member to continue.
Of his time, but this is not fair to him. I'm going to allow you the 5 minutes we just took. I'm going to give you the 3:45, but I'm going to ask you, please, stay relevant, stop the imputation, stop the denigration and defamation and disparagement when you have absolutely no need to do so. This is a sterile bill, and we seem to be forgetting the principle that the justice of the peace is the most ancient judicial office to ever exist in the common law world. Justices of the peace have been providing quasi-judicial services for hundreds of years. As a matter of fact, the historical antecedents of justices of the peace was that they were the first responders in the United Kingdom when the judicial system was not unified and was spread out all over in a disjointed way. So let us forget the invective. Let us forget the pugilistic posturing and get on with it. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker.
So the member was given another 5 minutes to talk Trinidad and Tobago, and within that, look, we're skipping along right here, within that, he went off again and again and again and again, just attacking the government on the notion that they involved in some political interference with the police service commissions and with all independent commissions, and that the government is the problem, and that all the issues that he brought up with the justice of the peace and justice of the peace rubber stamping warrants. What was happening under? I forget Kamala in power for 10 years, I really forget that. I forget the PNM wasn't in government, and they sat on the opposition bench while Kamala Persad-Bissessar sat in government for 10 years and issuing those rubber stamps, as he just mentioned there, or as the justice of the peace. It had to be. Because Kamala Persaud says that the UNC seek to fix almost all the issues that he mentioning, all right, by putting trust in the Police Service Commission and the Police Complaints Authority and several independent bodies across Trinidad that are now technically, not technically, 100%, some of them reshuffled under the Ministry of, or the Attorney General Legal Affairs. All right, reshuffled under legal affairs to bring about more transparency and due process for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And 100% I agree, 100%. Maybe it should have been under maybe the Integrity Commission, as many persons are talking about now, right? Some independent bodies or some bodies in Trinidad and Tobago. But the fact that you now have a government that is trying to fix the issues, but people like he inside Parliament creating mischief and only saying political interference is some political interference, that makes no sense. Empty vessels make the vessels make the most noise, and that is Kareem Marcel. He think because he get a title to name called attorney or MP, that Parliament is just to go and spread nonsense. But don't take it from me. Listen to him yourself. So you just heard Jagdeo say, I'm giving you 5 minutes. Wrap up your debate, because we took that away from you and we want to hear from you. But Christine Kangaloo, president today, tell Annie Roberts, your contribution done, sit down. You remember that, right? Your contribution over, that comes to the end of your contribution. And then kick him out for saying this is a joke. Like free speech don't matter in Parliament. There's no free speech. But listen to him.
I thank you very kindly for your intervention. And I want to say, Mr. Speaker, that relative to that exchange, that I apologize to your chair. Because there's no way that the member for Cuba South was getting an apology from me, Mr. Speaker, for that conduct. Mr. Speaker, the fact of the matter is that there are serious vulnerabilities as it relates to giving the justices of the peace the judicial discretion to issue search warrants for indictable and matters that are triable either way, and going back on that dangerous road, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, whilst I appreciate your comments about justices of the peace and how we should protect and understand the whole history of justices of the peace, Mr. Speaker, I am, as an elected member of this House, Mr. Speaker, will continue to raise the concerns of my constituents, to raise the concerns of the people of this country. I was elected here, Mr. Speaker. I have standing to give views in this matter. And every 41 member of the chambers have the authority to exercise and express our views on matters coming for debate. The 41 of us. And the Attorney General, Mr. Speaker.
48-1 relevance, Mr. Speaker. Nobody's stopping the member.
Let's not just take up more time. The member has 2 minutes again. I trust he will paint between the lines.
Mr. Speaker, I don't understand it, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, collateral damage library. Collateral damage library.
48-1, please, Mr. Speaker. You see?
Wasn't me.
You see? It's the same point I was making. Gave you 5 minutes. You've now resorted to name calling. The same thing you complained about. You've now resorted to name calling. Now tell me how that is productive. How does that assist us in moving forward? This incessant hurling and cross-hurling of insults, this never-ending desire to insult each other across the aisle, how does that help the conduct of the business of the House? Your 45 minutes is up, you know, but I'll give you 1 minute.
Very kindly, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just, with Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity to contribute. I want to urge the Honourable Attorney General to consider the Justice of the Peace being removed. We would circulate an amendment to the effect of same, please, Mr. Speaker. And once the proper consultation is carried out, the opposition is prepared at that time to support wholeheartedly this effort once the views are heard and expressed. Mr. Speaker, with that few words, I thank you very kindly for the opportunity.
Well, that was a troubling watch for me, Trinidad and Tobago, but you know, it didn't end there, unfortunately. It didn't end there. But let me open up the phone lines as well. 2824798 is the number to call in live too. 2824798. And you can give your opinions on that. We have just about 15 minutes left on the program today, all right? But ironically, it didn't end there, and I want to get for you where it actually ended, Trinidad and Tobago. And this is where things went to right after. So right after, again, I believe Mr. Jagdeo or Speaker Jagdeo, President Jagdeo, would have given ample time for Kareem Marcel to contribute properly and to actually bring a debate. Just as what Anna Roberts said, Anna Roberts was actually bringing a debate and not calling people names. He was speaking CPL, science, Trinidad. Why curtail opposition speaking time if it is that you're guided by the science? That apparently wasn't on topic for the speaker back then, now president today, Christine Kangaloo. But that behavior yesterday in Parliament, apparently that is, you know, that's appropriate now. But listen to a more senior member of Parliament now, Trinidad and Tobago, Nyan Gasby-Dolly. I tell you, this was planned, you know. This yesterday was planned by the opposition very well as well. Take a listen.
The support of the state in terms of the operational limb of the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. And that is something that I cannot say that our colleagues, when in government, lend their support to.
If I may,
Mr.
I rise
Speaker.
on stand another 55(1)(b). Mr. Speaker, this is tedious repetition. We've heard these points over and over and over again.
Well, I don't recall which member would have made that point. The mover of the motion spoke, the member for Ruka Lupino spoke, none of them made those points. Overruled. Continue.
Speaker, it's really a sad state of affairs that members come to this House and they don't prepare properly. They don't even read the notifications. Because, Mr. Speaker, I'm speaking about the Deputy Commissioner of Police.
Mr. Speaker,
I'm speaking about...
When I rose on 55(1)(b), I'm speaking of the member repeating himself tediously, ad nauseum, Mr. Speaker, round and round and round.
The member carefully laid out a three-pronged test. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sorry. Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, do I have any additional time? For the interruptions.
Yes, you do. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, while we have spoken about...
I want to pause it here for a reason. I want to tell you that Nyan Gasby-Dolly, she came with a motive, Trinidad and Tobago. And the motive was to corner the speaker, allegedly, into some corner, bring the speaker into a corner to make it seem as though there's some significant level of biasness between how the government is treated and then mainly how the opposition is treated by the Speaker of the House, Mr. Jagdeo Singh. That was the motive by the opposition, which is why they continuously kept rising on standing orders and saying standing order 41 this, standing order 46 this, 40 this, 40 that, 40 the other, to push the Speaker into a corner to make it seem as though there's some level of biasness when there's no real level of biasness. The same level of speaking time that is given to the government is given to the opposition. Same thing. You rise on several standing orders simply about 48.1 relevance and 46 and all kind of nonsense you're rising on. And every single time you rise, it's always about he repeating himself, he doing this, he doing that, he doing the other, we hear this already, we hear that already, we hear the other already. When in reality, if you listen to debate, anybody that listened to this debate and listened to Barry Padarat speaking, nothing that was said was unfactual. The fact with the merit list, when he brought up the merit list, that's factual. The news shared it.
Yes, repetition. We've heard these points over again.
And every single time the speaker ruled that he didn't hear it, so overruled. And then, you know what they do? They walk out and they stage a press conference after this Trinidad and Tobago. They stage a press conference, they walk out. That's the PNM. It was unwarranted and uncalled for. And Kareem, you could take pattern from Barry Padarat. You'll realize every time the speaker rules or somebody else on the opposition side rules on a standing order, he sat down. Because that's the rules in Parliament, right? That's how you behave, you conduct inside the Parliament. The speaker on his legs, you sit down. Somebody raise a standing order, you hear the standing order. And then you could comment after. But the way that it all unfolded yesterday, I know what to say. Difficult. But do so, do like so. Because I remember, again, Anil Roberts was kicked out, and then Anil Roberts was forced to apologize. Now listen.
Government has moved a motion of privilege against UNC Senator Anil Roberts for statements he made in the public domain against President of the Senate, Christine Kangaloo. The motion was brought by Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Franklin Khan, on Tuesday. He said during a broadcast of the program Dogla Politics, Senator Roberts used satirical subtext to allege that in the discharge of her duties as presiding officer, the President of the Senate is biased towards him. Senator Khan said there are respectable and dignified ways to challenge the rule of the Senate and the decisions of the chair. He said Senator Roberts has brought the Senate as a whole into public ridicule.
I submit that the Senator has committed a most egregious contempt of this esteemed Senate. And in this regard, Madam President, I move that this matter be referred to the Committee of Privileges for investigation and report. I beg to move.
The Senate President referred the matter for the consideration of the Vice President of the Senate. Last week, Senator Roberts was put out of the Senate after he was asked to apologize for comments he made in the chamber.
And after he apologized, he was kicked out, which I just played a short while ago for you here, and I'll replay it again just so therefore you know what I'm talking about, right? So the same thing that's going on today that Jaguar Singh not kicking out Kareem or anybody else for, if it was under now pencil pusher President Christine Kangaloo, should have kicked everybody out, should have kicked Barry Padarat out. But this is what I'm talking about again.
I am not going to repeat what I heard. I am asking you to apologize for what I just heard.
Ma'am, I humbly apologize for saying this is a joke.
Roberts, please leave the chamber for the rest of this sit-in. Please leave the chamber. Minister.
The thing is, he apologized, but she didn't like the way he apologized. But then Anil Roberts had to apologize, and this is his apology here to the Senate. And you can see the difference in everyone here.
On news, UNC Senator Anil Roberts has apologized to Senate President Christine Kangaloo and the Senate for statements he made earlier this year. In March, Mr. Roberts was referred to the Privileges Committee by then Leader of Government Business, the late Franklin Khan, for allegedly calling the Senate President names and criticizing her during his social media program. In the social media video, Senator Roberts used satirical subtext to allege that in the discharge of her duties as presiding officer, the President of the Senate was biased towards him. In July, the Senate adopted a report on Senator Roberts, recommending that he issue an apology in the upper house. During Tuesday's sitting, Mr. Roberts issued his apology to the Senate President and the entire House.
Pursuant to the recommendations therein, I wish to extend an unreserved apology to the President of the Senate and to the Senate as a whole for the statements deemed to have brought this House and its presiding officer into ridicule and odium.
I think Anil gave the apology a little bit too loud. You're supposed to tone it down, as the now president said, Anil Roberts. You're too loud. He was wrong to ask what standing order is that. You all think? What standing order is too loud? That is how the man does talk. That is how Anil Roberts does talk. But he was ridiculed for the way that he spoke. He was ridiculed for the points that he was making. He was ridiculed for participating in the bill that PNM, having the majority in government, sent him to the privilege committee to be reviewed. And ultimately, they wanted to remove him as a senator. Anything for political points, cheap political points by the People's National Movement. So what you see going on today, Trinidad and Tobago, is nothing new. It's nothing new. You're just getting a little taste of the own medicine. Just a little bit. Just a little some taste of your own medicine. Because at least we still have a president in charge of the Senate that's still allowing for you to talk. Right? Because this one here, oh God, she was the worst and she is the worst. The worst president of Trinidad and Tobago. Well, I can't say that. I can't say she's the worst president because this one was the worst president, this pencil pusher. She was the worst president for Trinidad and Tobago. Right? This woman here. Anyway, I'm not going into that. But then this one, right here on the right, worst Senate president. Worst Senate president ever. She was always on the side of PNM. But then again, that woman on the right was benefiting. Who was she husband again? Who was that woman husband? How much contracts they get? How much money they get? How much money they still getting? Who was this? Who is this woman husband again? Trinidad and Tobago? Oh God. But they want talk. They want talk. Them who benefiting from state contracts, telling me and you that them independent and them impartial and them executing their duties with fairness across the board for everyone. Yeah, right. While they're benefiting, while she and she husband benefiting or benefited, still benefiting to this day, right? Where's the let's call them she called her husband the second man or something she called her husband, right? I must stay off the president. She's the president of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago until she's no longer the president. And I can't wait until she's no longer the president of Trinidad and Tobago. So I will have respect for the ORTT. I'll say nothing more. We'll take a break.
To SNS Facade Group of Companies, a dynamic community-driven group serving multiple industries with excellence and integrity. At SNS Facade Supermarket, we're committed to community, providing vessel export delivery, custom food services, local delivery, wholesale solutions, fresh produce, in-house bakery, and premium meats. Discover relaxation reimagined at Sunset Beach Resort, with beachfront stays and dining that blends local flavor with ocean views, perfect for families and couples. At Cuts and Curve Fitness Center, where health meets lifestyle, with personal training, meal plans, a full gym, and on-site cafe. The SNS Facade Group of Companies, building value, trust, and community across everything we do.
What if we told you that one course could boost your child's performance in every SCA paper? That's why Learn Smart TT has created an online comprehension and poetry course. This is completely self-paced with all tools accessed online. It's 30 passages, 30 poems. They can be downloaded or answered on our site. From there, students get access to answer sheets that have detailed options of how the answers could have been written. No other product on the market has this. In addition, they get access to a video tutorial with an expert teacher walking them through the passage or poems using high visuals and techniques to ensure they derive meaning. Also, we model how we derived each answer so they can do the same. If you want your child to enjoy all of these benefits and propel in comprehension, SCA, and general academic life, click the link above and register for this course and join hundreds of parents and students who are benefiting.
I am Crystal Bevenash, the only presidential choice for Tutor Election 2025.
It's time to come together, together we are Tutor.
I'm an educator since 1993. 32 years in this noble profession, from OJT at Valencia to ATP at Kumaka, T1 at Malabar, head of department at Valencia South, principal at Barataria, and now SS1 at Northeastern Education District. I've served both tutor and Ministry of Education at all these different levels throughout my years. Let's talk accolades. I joined Tutor shortly after becoming an assistant teacher. I served as a staff representative, as a zonal convener. I served as the district executive of St. George's Education District. I also served as the Conference of Delegates, which is the highest decision-making body in Tutor. To me, Tutor and the Ministry of Education go hand in hand. They both work to serve the nation's children to ensure that they receive the best quality education that is available. And Tutor would have allowed me to develop into the individual that I am today. In addition to that, I would have served as a principal, as the principals at the NAPSPA, the National Primary School Principals Association. I also would have been the president of the Association of Principals of Catholic Schools, the principal involved in Sports Council, actually the chairman of the Sports Council of the St. George's Education District, and many more. All of these leadership roles would have been guided by what I would have learned, the principles and so on, in Tutor, and all the leadership roles Tutor would have allowed me to be part of and grow and develop myself. My leadership philosophy is rooted in servant leadership. I believe in leading by example, not position. I also believe in listening before speaking, and I always put persons before myself. If elected, I intend to lead with humility, empathy, and strength, because I have experienced the same things that you have experienced as a teacher, as a principal, and now as a school supervisor. Allow me to represent you as your president, Crystal Bevenash. I present myself to you as the next president of Tutor. I am you are me, we are Tutor.
October 14th, it's time for the Tutor Rebirth.
Welcome back on the Inside Trinidad and Tobago. So I think I'm the only one that go in depth on these things, you know. I feel like everyone else hit the surface. But for everyone that has hit the surface on matters like this one is for you. Take your A and go. And this is from Alexander.
Should David resign as a minister while his case is pending?
Oh, well, what I can tell you is I realize that the tourist minister of national security knows that. Huh?
Who's that?
The one that let's keep all the press conference for all the time. Now, name is.
But what about it?
Yeah?
What about it?
I want to send something from you. I'll give him the paper. I'll give you.
Sure.
Tell him he like lefty or he's selling air.
This is the media laughing there. Alexander planned that nonsense. He wake up saying, I know what I'm gonna ask me. I know what I'm gonna do. He walked with a bag to Parliament to blow air in a bag to give to the media to send for Marvin Gonzalez or maybe Churchill, one out of them. That's crazy. And the thing is, Marvin Gonzalez responded. You also Marvin responds? You saw Marvin responds? Marvin Gonzalez, look, he now pop up on my screen, Lord God. But Marvin Gonzalez responded to that nonsense, and Marvin responded Trinidad and Tobago with this photo here. Let me get it. See if I can get this photo real quick, if it will save. All right, this is it here. Marvin Gonzalez would have taken to social media to respond with this. And he said, the quote here, the caption is, I can only send you what is in my head. Y'all know this person, right? I am so, listen, they're taking pattern from Donald Trump because Trump is the one that responded like that to Trinidad and Tobago. But this place is a joke. This place is a joke, I ain't gonna lie. And then, let me see if I could find this. Yes, this one I want to play. I want to wrap up the program with this. All right, this one I want to wrap up the program with because I find this one was funny. 1 second, I'm trying to get something for you. But that's what the response was. So Marvin Gonzalez is the greatest. Yes, not Marvin. Alexander is the greatest. Alexander sent air for the media. And sent air for Marvin Gonzalez. But there was a video, a comedy video with it on how Alexander left his house that I want to get for you and wrap the program with that. So I'm getting it now for those of you on social media. All right, here we go. Let me download this real quick. You saw the video? You didn't see it? All right. So this is how we're wrapping up the show tonight, Trinidad and Tobago. And I want to tell you guys to have a great day. And for Alexander, I don't know, boy. I don't know. I really don't know about Alexander, boy. Alexander does talk about, enter banana is a banana. That's what you're in the zoo? That's not what you're in the zoo. You do that as a child? I don't know why. But have a great night, Trinidad and Tobago, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. I will see you back here on Monday at 8 to 9 p.m. as we go over Budget 2025-2026. I'll leave you with some comedy. Not Parliament, though.
Xander before leaving his house today.
Well, what's it? You buy go shit at the end?
Yeah, I buy only meat and thing for you.
What's it? Why?
Why? What happened?
I'll do something. After the year. You see, I prepare for the media today. Yeah, I know they're coming with the questions. And I have something for them. But, yeah. I have something for the media today. They're coming. And they ask me a question. You ever heard this, huh? Prepare for them. I'm working with this, yeah? I'm working with this. I'm ready for them. I got big suit, yeah?
You know what? I can't just leave you with one Trinidad and Tobago. I got to play two. Because he funny. This one was David Lee, and this is how we'll wrap the program tonight. Have a great night.
Zana, sir, Minister, sir. What do you think
Yeah.
about the Minister Lee being rearrested? What is your thoughts on that?
I tell you this, yeah? I just want to ask me nothing, I tell you this, right? So let me explain something to you. Listen to me, yeah, buddy, listen to me. Is it guilty until proven innocent, or innocent until proven guilty? Yeah?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but what I'm saying is
Yeah.
affecting how will it see the minister now?
But I tell you this, right? Let me say this, right? You, buddy, your name is nobody. Your name is nobody. Yeah? Your wife name is the law. Yeah? Well, Trinity terms the law. Yeah? Your name is nobody. Your wife name is the law. You're not lying. You drink. Yeah? Drinking Magnum. Only go tweed. You know what it is? The little boy you drink. You come home. You meet your wife. You tell she, baby, lie down. I want to make her a lot of wrongs. You climb on top of she. You know what it is? Nobody is above you law. Yeah? Remember that. The man's last name is Lee. Right? So what all you have to do is leave him alone. Thank you.